Hey everybody, Lipstick and Thighs here. If you're new to my channel, my name is Nora. I'm 27 years old from Nashville, Tennessee, and I talk about beauty, plus size fashion and style, faith and lifestyle. So adulting, being a black millennial in the world, being a plus size woman in the world, and everything in between there. Just my life. But anyway, I am coming to you all today just to chat about being a black woman, black femininity, my struggles with embracing my femininity, just due to life circumstances, and how that translates into my romantic life. And it's all based on an experience that happened to me this week. So I had a flat tire. It's just, that's a normal thing, but I don't have a spare. Kias aren't made with spares anymore. When you buy a Kia, you don't get a spare. Didn't have a jack. If you've watched some of my prior videos, go back and watch some of them. I may link it here, but I talked about the things that are going on in my family. So my mom and my stepdad are getting divorced. And that's the only dad I know. So we're kind of in a rocky spot with our relationship as well right now. It's a lot of change going on for me. Started grad school in August. My mom started dialysis in August. It's so many different changes, trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, trying to make it in the world, those kind of things. So that flat tire came at a really inopportune time. I was like, bleep, I'm working on cursing, so bleep, hashtag SH, bleep bleep, because I was like, okay, here I am, I'm trying to get to work, can't, I don't know who to call for help. I don't know if I can really make it down to, a place to get some air or have someone look at it. I didn't have the cash to try to tow. I mean, I have insurance, but if it was something bigger, I didn't want to waste a tow to somewhere, and my mom can't drive. I'm the only one with the vehicle at this point. So I take her around and do everything that I can. So I'm like, shit, how do we function if I can't? Well, I just said, anyway, how do we function, And I just sat there in that moment. And at first, I was listening to my gospel music. I was trying to learn the songs. I'm on a praise team at BT Dub, Breaking the Wall. So Breaking the Walls here in Nashville, Tennessee. And I was trying to learn our music for choir practice, learn the songs. And I'm just sitting here on the side of the road, I'm still in my apartment complex. And I'm just like, what am I going to do? And normally I would freak out, but I was just very calm. And I just kind of sat there. And then eventually someone came and helped, and it all worked out. But in that process, it was something that occurred at the tire shop that kind of struck this whole video. And it was, I felt like I didn't have to lead. I was able to allow someone else to lead and just be present. And so I was talking to Vaughn, my friend, last night about that. We were talking about black femininity and how just the way, just particularly speaking about us, the dynamics in our families and how our moms have to lead all the time. My grandmother, she raised me. There were no men in the household. She led, and even between my mom and my dad, my stepdad, and their relationship, she was fairly dominant there. So it's not being in the presence of men that lead, So I've been forced out of life due to circumstances to have to hustle on my own and, quote unquote, I guess we said, be superwoman. You know what I mean? But in that instance, it was nice to let somebody else lead, So Vaughn and I were talking about it last night, and I was like, I've got to share this just because it was such an interesting dynamic for me, not having to figure out my next moves and you know what I mean? Just kind of be a passenger. So overall, we were talking about how black women have to be strong and be hard and quote unquote almost be manly, just to make it in the world, how the world and our history has shaped us to be that way. And I was like, I like being soft. I like being delicate. I like being feminine. But I feel like I can't be free and vulnerable and soft and emotional and feminine all the time, because if I have to be the lead all the time, you can't be, not that you can't, because you can be a woman and lead. Like, I'm not saying that I don't want to be a leader, because I am a leader. I've been called to be a leader. But what I'm saying is, I don't want to have to lead all the time. I don't want to have to lead 24/7. I want somebody else to be able to lead. I want to be able to trust a man to lead. And that led us into a conversation about the ideal guy, like positive traits that we would want in our partner, in a man that we're with. And just being able to trust a man to lead is number one on my list. Like, I feel like I have to do so much. I know that I have to lead so much and put out fires so much all the time, in my day-to-day with my family and everything. I have to be the support system for everybody else. And at some point, I want to be able to rely on someone else and depend on someone else, but trust that person to lead. Like, I had no issue being somewhat submissive, because in this situation, I somewhat trusted the person that was leading. So what I'm saying overall in my relationship with my future boyfriends, husband, all of that stuff, my goal is I didn't have any issue being submissive. And it took me back, because I was like, whoa, I just kind of fell into place. And I was like, wow, this wasn't so bad. Like, I was really okay with it. It was comforting to not have to figure stuff out all the time. You get tired of having to lead 24/7. It's to the point where I'm thinking about, I'm always in my head, what's next? What are my next moves? I have to be strategic all the time. I have to strategize all the time. And I feel like I don't want to continue life that way. I want to enjoy being an independent young Black woman out in the world. I want to enjoy learning how to lead in a business environment. I want to lead my own business. I don't mind leading people in a worship setting, but I don't want to have to lead at home. At some point, I want to be able to rely and trust on someone else. And I just think, that hardness, I found myself becoming very hard. And I do have an emotional side. I'm very emotionally vulnerable, with friends and things like that. But when it comes to romance, I still find myself in situations where I'm like, oh, do I need to tell him what to do? Is he gonna already figure it out? You know what I mean? And another thing that happened after, before Vaughn and I had this conversation, but after the experience, the flat tire experience, so it was just about acknowledging my femininity and being, just that banter back and forth. But I had an encounter at work. Gentleman held the door for me, nice looking Black guy, maybe 35 in there, anywhere between 32 to 36, I would say. And, he initiated the conversation. It was light, slightly flirty, very engaging, just kind of fun. And I didn't find myself trying to figure out, so what are we? What does this mean? You know what I mean? Is this person interested? Those kind of things. He was clear. He was very clear. He was very concise. It was very blatant. You know what I mean? It was fun. He wasn't lewd in any way. But what I'm saying is it was fun. I was just oh, okay. So you're clearly going after what you want. You know what I mean? You're letting me know that you're interested. You're laying it on heavy enough so that I'm not thinking, oh, this is just a casual conversation. You know what I mean? It was just fun, but it was clear that he was laying the foundation for something, or just fun flirting, Anyway, I just thought it was cool. It kind of took me back to that whole, I was able to be soft. I didn't have to be, strong and, you know what I mean? And he led this chase. He led the conversation, and I loved it. It was so nice. But I was talking to Vaughn about how I felt like, I remember my stepdad calling me a bulldog one day because there was something going on and someone had taken money out of his account. And I was just arguing back and forth to make sure my parents got the money back into their account. And he was like, "Get him, bulldog, get him, get him," And just thinking about that, I'm like, am I a bulldog? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that to be the thing that you think, that I'm an attack dog. You know what I mean? Not that I don't have to be docile, but not that I'm soft and elegant, or that I'm charismatic. You know what I mean? It wasn't anything like, it wasn't the femininity. It was like masculine aggressiveness. And I'm not saying that women can't be aggressive, but I don't want to be a bulldog in every aspect of my life. So the flat tire incident was just a very nice foundation for me to realize I can be soft, I can step back, I can let somebody else lead, and that it's nice to do that. That's a direction I want to go in. But if you can, especially Black women, this is for you. Talk to me about this conversation, Black femininity. Are you struggling with it? Do you feel like you've been forced by life to lead all the time and to be harsh? And then specifically in the area of romance, do you find yourself having to be dominant all the time? Because in my last relationship, I felt like I had to be dominant, and it almost left me with a bad taste in my mouth because I couldn't trust him to lead. He didn't present himself to be a leader. And I don't know partly if it was me just going out of habit, but underlying, he didn't give me I can lead kind of vibe. He didn't give me that. But I guess if you could just explain where you are with yourself. Do you see that there's a need for femininity? Do you really understand how not feeling feminine has deterred you? If there are women out there watching that have really tapped into their femininity, can you talk to me about how you've done that? I'm going to talk more about this later on, but the flat tire incident was definitely symbolic for me overall about just where I am in life, and trying to keep my, I guess, metaphorical car moving and maintained. But thanks for watching. At any rate, I'm always excited to have new members join this lipstick family. Come on and get in the bag. Let's talk about life. Be a cool little MAC lipstick or a Wet n Wild, lip gloss. You can be a Rimmel, you can be Mented or Juvia's Place. Either way, get in my bag. Come on, click that bell notification below so you get notifications as soon as I release new hot content. Also, go ahead, subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Invite more people to watch me. Anyway, have a good evening. Bye.